Jimmy Kimmel is back, and it is driving Donald Trump batshit crazy, which is why tonight Kimmel, with maybe the biggest audience he has ever had, delivered what can only be described as a knockout blow of a monologue, and it led Donald Trump into a crazed posting tantrum in which he admitted to the real reason that Kimmel was suspended. We are going to get into the monologue. We are going to get into the Trump freakout. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, we are going to check out this hilarious monologue from Jimmy Kimmel and then get into the posting tantrum that it made Trump go into. But unfortunately, we can't watch the clips because ABC will block them from being played on this show. So we're just going to go through them one by one, and then we're going to see Trump's freak out. Jimmy Kimmel opened up his show with a shot at FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, saying Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing Carr the Republicans have embraced since the Cybertruck. He hit Donald Trump exactly where it hurts most, bringing up the Epstein scandal, saying he might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now. Kimmel mocked his employer a little bit, saying of Disney, Disney has asked me to read the following statement, and I agreed to do it, to reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account. Robert De Niro also joined the fun. Of course, he is one of the bigger Trump critics out there, saying, I gotta go. A couple of cases of Tylenol fell off of a truck, and now I gotta figure out how to put autism in them. Kimmel had a lot of fun mocking Donald Trump for his quote-unquote autism press conference, saying of Trump, that's right, follow the advice of Donald Trump, and you too can look like a glazed ham with deep vein thrombosis. Kimmel's show then put together a montage of Trump insisting dozens of times to not take Tylenol. Jimmy Kimmel then ended his show with the most important sentiment of the night. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he cannot take a joke. Kimmel then closed on this important and prescient note, this show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. Jimmy Kimmel is exactly right. What is important is not whether or not you were Kimmel's biggest fan, if you tuned in on YouTube every night or every once in a while, if you liked him at the Oscars or you used to watch him when he was a stand-up, no. What matters is that we are allowed to tell jokes in this country. This is a MAGA movement full of hypocrites that said again and again and again that they were bringing comedy back, that they were bringing free speech back. But we know if you want to be a Republican, you got to be a bullshitter. You have to agree to shamelessly lie all the time, and that is what Donald Trump has done. He is the most insecure little baby in America, and he got his little feelings hurt by Jimmy Kimmel, not only because he called him out for looking like a glazed ham, but because on the night in which Jimmy Kimmel's show was taken off the air, he was planning to go off on Donald Trump's least favorite topic, his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We cannot forget about that in the context of this all, that Donald Trump will cover up any attacks on him, but especially as they relate to Epstein. But what Donald Trump wanted us to believe was that this wasn't about Epstein, that it was about a reaction to Charlie Kirk. The narrative that you heard from Donald Trump stooges again and again and again was that this was a business decision, that there was this huge outrage in response to Kimmel's comments on Kirk's, his correct assertion that Donald Trump wanted to use Charlie Kirk's death for his political gain, that they weren't friends. Trump didn't give a shit about him. We know that. And he also made it clear that Charlie Kirk was a fucking bigot, and if you don't feel bad, you don't have to. And that is all true. That is not what got Jimmy Kimmel taken off the air. It was Donald Trump. And he made that very clear in his post, which is funny when you consider what all of his surrogates said.
I've never heard them care about the Constitution so much. Their First Amendment, First Amendment. This has nothing to do with the First Amendment. This has to do with the business decision, as you noted.
So the decision to suspend and I suspect eventually cancel Kimmel is a business decision by ABC.
But similar to Kimmel, he's getting the boot because, well, he was just bad for business.
You hear that, guys? Business decision. Business decision, business decision, business decision. That's what they're saying. that it was a business decision. Got to defend Mr. Trump, got to defend the dear leader. But the dear leader didn't do himself any favors because tonight, because Jimmy Kimmel is under his skin, that ham-glazed skin, he melted down, threw up this post on Truth Social, and boy, is it backfiring. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and, to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we are going to test ABC on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Donald Trump just gave away the game. Why would ABC call the White House and say they had canceled Jimmy Kimmel's show if this wasn't about pressure from the federal government, which it was all along? And anyone who said otherwise was lying to you. And very poorly were they lying to you, because it was obvious from the beginning. Donald Trump, the little baby bitch that he is, got his little baby bitch feelings hurt, and he lashed out. This is not a lawsuit that Donald Trump is going to win. He is the frivolous lawsuit president, and he keeps losing. Donald Trump wants you. He wants you to think that he is inevitable, that all of his plans will come to fruition, that his legislation will pass, that he can hide the Epstein files, he can cover up his crimes and get away with all of it. But he cannot. He continues to lose in court. He is losing in the court of public opinion. And worst of all, what hurts his ego most is that Disney saw us, cancel Hulu, cancel Disney Plus, tank their stock price, and they bent the knee to us. They listened to us. They listened to you, not the President of the United States, crying like a little baby. They had to listen to us and answer to us because we are more powerful than he is. And you should feel powerful knowing that you made that happen. It is not easy, no matter what anyone will say, to cancel Hulu, cancel Disney Plus, to say, you know what, I'm done with this corporation. It's not. I know it's TV, and so we think, it's just TV, whatever. But you took a stand. I am so proud of everyone I saw in my comments over the past couple of days saying, fuck Bob Iger. I am canceling everything. You will be hearing from me. And do you know what? They did. And like Jimmy Kimmel said, this is not about him. This is about standing up for free speech and standing up to the corporate interests that have never given a shit about us. And they don't. They care about their next merger, their next acquisition. They care about bumping their stock price up with their buybacks, which should be illegal. That's what they care about. They care about the third house in Aspen, the fourth house in Turks and Caicos. They don't care about what we want. This isn't a marketplace that serves consumers anymore. This is about billionaires becoming trillionaires. And do you know what we did? We stared them down, and they blinked first. They flinched because we're more powerful. And if that doesn't get you excited, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what does. Because we're better than them. We're bigger than them. We can fight back against them. And if that isn't the energy that we bring into 2026 and 2028, I don't know what is. That we can say fuck off to the corporate interests. That we can beat them out because we are more powerful. That's what we should want out of every Democrat running for office. That's what we should want out of Democrats who want to lead this party. I don't want the strongly worded letter bullshit. I don't want a press conference that goes anywhere, that goes nowhere. I want action. This is action. This is people standing up. It is 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm fucking fired up. I am excited. And how could you not be? Donald Trump is a little baby and he caves. Disney caved. We can get him to cave. And he was embarrassing today at the UN. And someone who's got a little bit of strength himself, Mark Kelly, called that out.
I mean, at a certain point, you'll run out of adjectives to describe the rhetoric of the President of the United States, but your response to the speech today?
Well, he's adding more countries every day. Yes. Yeah, I think it's because, he said before the election that he was going to end the war in Ukraine and Gaza on day one. Unrealistic. And it seems like he's insecure about this, not being able to accomplish what he promised. I think folks have to just stop listening to him. I think that I feel really bad about having to say that. Or maybe we just give him a medal. Remember at the end of The Wizard of Oz?
He really wants one.
The end of The Wizard of Oz, the wizard gave the lion a medal. I think that's the point.
I think if you could do a Truman Show Nobel Peace Prize sort of thing for him, he would be extremely excited about it. But that point you made, I want to ask you about these two conflicts. One is today he came out seeming to sort of oscillate back towards Ukraine, and maybe they can get all their territory back and now open again to sanctions. Now, again, people talk this 180, but part of the thing with him is this inconstancy means you never know if that, whether that's going to last. Where do you see our role in that conflict right now?
Well, I think we still need to support our ally Ukraine, help them. We used to give them. Now it's done through European nations, selling them the equipment they need to defend themselves. The war has changed dramatically. I sit on the Armed Services and the Intelligence Committee. In the beginning of that war was a lot of artillery, exchange of artillery fire. That's where some ground would be made or lost. That is now FPV, first-person drone warfare, which has really changed what ground combat looks like on, certainly in Europe. We have to continue to support them. It's also not realistic, what the president said today. I think he even said something about maybe Ukraine would gain some Russian territory.
Yes, he said maybe they'll get past their borders.
Talk about a 180. You're talking about a 180, and then let's go 100 yards down the field. This war can end when it gets really uncomfortable for Putin, when he is affected financially. If we could stop the purchase of oil by China, India, Brazil, that adds up to a lot of revenue. There's legislation to do that. We could put more pressure on the Russians. It's interesting. I think the tariff rate on Russia right now is 10%.
Yeah.
Now, we don't buy a lot.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
stuff there, but just as a symbolic, measure, we could raise the tariff on Russia, demonstrate that we are serious about this. Ultimately, I think it's going to be financial pressure.
We can beat the bullies, and we are going to celebrate every sweet, sweet, sweet victory on this show. Some of them are going to be tough. We've had some bad days recently. Y'all know I have been losing it, and I appreciate y'all backing me up. And if you want to continue to do that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. I am recording in the middle of the night, so I'd really appreciate it if you drop a blue heart in the comments. Maybe tell me to go to bed, because if no one else does, I won't. Gotta get some sleep. I've got an early morning. I've got a big announcement actually coming tomorrow. This is going to be fun. And if you want to support the show in another way, of course, you can check out my deranged writings that are going to be on Substack. Linked below or right here. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you, even at 1 in the morning when we're recording, because fuck Donald Trump. And until next time, I'll see you soon.